On June 18, 1815, Napoleon delayed his attack at Waterloo until midday. That single decision gave Blücher's Prussian forces enough time to arrive, outflank the French army, and secure a coalition victory. But we can imagine a different afternoon. Say Napoleon sends in the Old Guard earlier, or heavily secures his right flank against the Prussian advance. In this scenario, Wellington's lines break. The British and Prussians retreat in chaos. French troops march into Brussels, and across the Channel, panic sets in as the London stock market crashes. It makes for a great story, but looking past the immediate tactical victory, Napoleon still faced a coalition with a vastly superior pool of resources and manpower. We tend to look at Waterloo and assume history turns on the hinge of a single afternoon. We fixate on infantry charges and ignore the grinding realities of logistics and grand strategy.
Even a flawless tactical victory on that Belgian field would have struggled to save the French Empire. Larger forces were already in motion that made a long-term French collapse almost certain. A victory at Waterloo would not have resulted in a lenient peace treaty. The Seventh Coalition did not declare war on France. They declared war on Napoleon personally, branding him an international outlaw. This political map of Europe in 1815 shows France entirely encircled by hostile nations, united for his capture. While the French army celebrates its hypothetical victory, 150,000 to 200,000 fresh Russian and Austrian troops are already marching westward toward the French border. Napoleon could have drafted 100,000 new conscripts and fought a brilliant defensive campaign on home soil. But his best tactical maneuvers could not permanently stop a combined force of that magnitude. This aerial view of Paris shows the inevitable target of that march. Coalition armies would likely surround the capital, laying siege to it using the same experience they gained taking the city a year earlier. Had the coalition been forced to seize Paris a second time, they likely would have abandoned the leniency of his first exile. Some historians suggest he would have faced a swift trial for treason, potentially ending before a firing squad in the Luxembourg Gardens. Surviving the Duke of Wellington simply changes the location of his final defeat from a muddy field in Belgium to the gates of his own capital. To understand why France could not sustain another massive defensive war, we have to look back 3 years to 1812. That is the year the French military actually died. The freezing temperatures and the brutal geography of the Russian winter completely wiped out nearly 400,000 experienced French veterans. By 1815, the nation was bled dry. The Waterloo campaign was an offensive push fueled entirely by fumes, relying on raw conscripts rather than the seasoned corps that had conquered Europe. Then there is the unavoidable dead end of human biology. Napoleon was older, his health was failing, and the bold, decisive leadership of his youth had been replaced by caution. Even if he somehow achieved a miraculous military stalemate against the entire continent, a biological clock was ticking. He would succumb to stomach cancer in 1821. His death would leave a fractured, exhausted state in the hands of his 11-year-old son. That power vacuum would practically invite the surrounding European monarchs to invade and finish the job immediately. No amount of brilliant battlefield heroics can indefinitely hold off exhausted demographics and the finality of human mortality. A victory at Waterloo would have been a speed bump for the coalition. It would buy Napoleon a few extra weeks, maybe months, of clinging to power. We love to romanticize the decisive battle. It reduces complex geopolitical shifts into a simple sports match, where one brilliant play before the buzzer dictates the final score. Reality is far less cinematic. Massive empires do not collapse because a commander ordered a delayed infantry charge or failed to secure a flank. This diagram shows the true mechanics of history. The weight of a single tactical victory is easily crushed by the compounding forces of broken supply lines, long-term economic isolation, and a unified front of geopolitical enemies. Waterloo marks the final, visible collapse of an empire that had been hollowing out since the march to Moscow. It was an ending already written by the years that came before it.